Hi everyone, I am Anggita Nawangsari. I am from Smart University. For today's lesson, we will talk about narrative text, focusing on the fantasy story. So, for today's lesson, we will discuss about the characteristic of narrative text and the social function and also the text structure. And then for the skill, we will focus on the reading skill, which is we will identify the theme and the topic sentence, and also the detailed information consists of implicit and explicit information, and then we will identify the contextual meaning of words in the narrative text fantasy. Alright, so I have a question for you. If you could have a power, what kind of superhero's power would you want? Probably you will answer like Spider-Man, Iron Man, and then like Hulk or Superman, or probably Ariel. Yeah, they're mermaid. So today's material will discuss about that kind of things. It's about magical things, fantasy. So, what is narrative text? Narrative text is a type of text that tells a story or describes a sequence of events, and the purpose is to entertain or inform, even educate the readers by presenting a series of events in a coherent and engaging way. And then the characteristic of fantasy story, you need to remember these three things of film: Doctor Strange, Narnia, and also Harry Potter. This kind of film consists of the author's imagination that not limited by natural law or imagined outside of the reality, and includes magical superheroes, monsters, fairies, magical creatures, and mythological heroes. And then the next characteristic is the sentences. She said my uncle visited me yesterday, and then she said that her uncle visited her the previous day. So this kind of sentences is direct and indirect speech. For the first sentence, it is direct speech, which is repeat or quote the express of or the words spoken. We can identify it by the quotation marks in there. And then the second sentence is indirect speech. Indirect speech is usually used to talk about the past, so we normally change the tenses of the words spoken into. For the example is visited is still visited, and then we remove the quotation mark and change it to that. We already learned about this before. And then the next characteristic is the sentences. You helped me yesterday. I was born in 2007, and then they brought a lot of fruit 2 days ago. The sentences is including in simple past tense, which is used to express or tell about past event that already happened in the past. And then the next is this. 3 days ago she wore a beautiful dress, and then Harry was so happy yesterday. The green one is an attribute of time. It can tell us about when an action happened or how frequently an action happened, because narrative text is consists of a sequence of events, so we need an adverb of time to describe the when the action happened. And then the beautiful dress, happy, the blue one is An adjective. Adjective, it can describe or modify noun and pronouns. It usually comes right before a noun or pronoun. So the characteristic of a story is not limited by the law of reality, and then use direct and indirect speech, and then use simple past tense, and then the last one is use adverb of time and adjective. Okay, so now is the generic structure of narrative text. The first is orientation. The orientation part should answer the question who, where, and when. It tells about the character and setting, both time and place of the story. And complication is the beginning of the problem, and it slowly leads to the peak of the problem. The peak of the problem named climax. And then the last one is resolution. The resolution is the part where the conflict or problem is resolved. This may involve characters overcoming obstacles or experiencing personal growth. So now we will try to identify the structure of Pinocchio text. So the first paragraph is orientation, because in this paragraph it tells about who is the character and then when the story is happened. In the past, there was a puppeteer whose name was Geppetto, and then Geppetto named a puppet by Pinocchio. And the next paragraph 2 and 3 is complication, because it tells the beginning of the problem and the climax. The beginning of the problem is Pinocchio was alive. So when a puppet is alive, it will be a problem. And then the next problem is Pinocchio was kidnapped, and then the climax is Geppetto was then in the whale's stomach when he awoke. He couldn't find the way to go out. And then the last one is resolution. In the resolution, the character can overcome the problem, that is Pinocchio finally could escape out, and then he met Geppetto in the whale's stomach. Both of them go out from its stomach, and then they live happily ever after. Now we will continue to the reading comprehension. About reading comprehension, their theme is the idea of the entire story and can be expressed in a single word such as love, betrayal, happiness, honesty, bravery, and hard work. And a topic sentence introduces the main idea of the paragraph and usually located in the first sentence of paragraph. So for theme is the whole story, but the topic sentence is only one paragraph. And then explicit and implicit information. For explicit, describe something that is very clear and without vagueness or ambiguity. And then implicit refers to something that is understood but not described directly and often uses assumption. And then for the last one is contextual meaning, refers to the meaning of a word that can be represented or explained using other words by understanding the context of the sentence. For the example, the flood water smell putrid as it carries decayed garbage from the garbage dump. So what is the meaning of putrid? From this we can have a clue, that is flood and garbage. When flood and garbage form, it will smell not good. So putrid means bad smell. Okay, that's all for my delivery about the narrative text focusing on the fantasy story. Goodbye and see you again.